I'm Dave Isbell, the Alumni Career Service Coordinator at Michigan State University, and this is Lisa Parker, the Director of Alumni Career and Business Services, and probably a couple other words.
Probably.
And we're here to just kind of chat about some of the ideas that that come up from time to time. So recently we had a request from somebody who asked me what should he do to make his volunteerism kind of move over his career. So Lisa and I are both passionate about volunteerism in general, but particularly the strategy of being strategic about your volunteerism. So with that, I will kick off and ask Lisa, what are some of your ideas first on this?
Well, a number of people that I interact with are using volunteerism as a resume builder or as an attempt to network with other individuals. And where the frustration seems to come into play is for individuals who are finding themselves overextended. They're volunteering in a lot of places. They're doing things that aren't necessarily introducing new skill sets to them. Maybe they're isolated. They're in a back room stuffing an envelope somewhere, or they're picking up a can along a highway. And it's not that they don't appreciate doing that type of work for some of the organizations they're involved with, but they're feeling stress because they're in a situation where they need some of their volunteer efforts to give them some leverage in their job search. And those types of opportunities may not be doing that for them soon enough. Do you see that at all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think the worst thing one can do, though, is to volunteer to try to get a job.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to volunteerism, the simple act of volunteerism is, hey, I care about this enough to do it whether I get paid or not. And that should really be your motivation for volunteerism. However, second to that is volunteerism should put you in a place where you are with people. You're doing things that can become visible. You're doing things that use your skill set or help you to grow and help you to kind of tell the story of what you've been doing. And this is particularly effective if you're unemployed or if you're trying to change from one thing to another, because you can't come in with the story, I'm unemployed, because, I mean, really, it's not very impressive.
Right.
But also, people can tell if you're volunteering just because you want to try to get a job there or because I want to meet people. People aren't stupid. They can tell that your motivation isn't kind of pure and it's not full of philanthropy. You know? Yeah. So I think it's key to pick something that you care about and that you love, but also something that is more than just kind of stuffing envelopes in the back room and kind of being really upfront about, hey, I can do this and that, and kind of coming in with a plan or a proposal for I see that you have this problem. Let me become a solution to that problem.
Yeah, and I think organizations that use volunteers certainly realize that you are giving your time to them. And everybody has a natural, well, most people have a natural desire for some sort of reciprocity. And so if they feel like your payoff for helping them out is perhaps gaining a skill that you can use elsewhere, I think largely they're going to support that. And if you go to them saying, I really support your particular mission. I'm involved already in my personal life with some of the things related to what you do. I would love to help out. I heard you all lost some funding, or you recently had to lay off some people. If I could roll up my sleeves and help you with your marketing campaign, with some of your social media efforts, I'd be happy to do that, and it would be a great opportunity for me to brush up on those skills because I need them for my job search at large. And it's a win-win situation for everybody. Where it becomes sticky is when we're volunteering for an organization that we really hope to lure into potentially hiring us, because people, as you mentioned, can see through that. And then if that organization ends up not hiring us, there's oftentimes a chance to feel some resentment behind that. You feel a little bit used. Where if you can go into the process establishing some degree of mutual benefit, no matter whether a long-term option comes out of it directly, then that long-term option is just gravy that happens, and everybody's comfortable about the experience through the entire process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and there's this thing called, I call it the volunteer ghetto. So you come into a company and you come in as the volunteer, you present yourself as the volunteer, which is good. Your motivation is pure, you want to help out, all those kind of things. But you hope to have something happen from it. Well, I'll say that you can't break out of the volunteer ghetto unless you let them know that you have some value that's more than just volunteer.
Yeah.
Because if you're a great volunteer, they may never see you as a candidate for some role that's open because all they see you as is the role of the volunteer.
Yeah, and it's up to the volunteer, the individual, to make good choices with how much time they actually have to commit to volunteer initiatives. A number of the people that I meet that have problems because they get involved in a lot of things that involve a regular and long-term commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to take stock. We run into this situation where we have a hard time saying no to people.
Right.
Sometimes we have to say no. Sometimes we have to be soliciting or seeking out volunteer opportunities that work with our life. Maybe we just need or have a Thursday a month to offer. Where can we spend that Thursday? Where we're doing something for an organization that's meaningful to us, but also possibly meeting some new people that will take us out of our box or learning a skill that we know we're rusty on.
Well, and I think you make a good point that volunteerism serves you best when you do it when you have a job. Just like networking.
Yeah.
Because it's a seamless transition, and maybe you have more hours to give, or you can do something maybe a little different if you're not working. But it's a part of telling the story. It's about creating a narrative. I'm not saying if you aren't working and all of a sudden you want to go volunteer that you shouldn't do that, but it's best if you throw your efforts at something that you care about anyways.
It's more genuine, absolutely. But for those who are unemployed, it does help you in that situation if an employer says, like, where have you been working? I haven't officially been working anywhere for the past 3 months, but I have been busy. Mm-hmm. This is what I've been doing. Because most companies at the end of the day, I think it matters more to them that you are keeping engaged, that you're keeping fresh, versus specifically earning a paycheck. Mm-hmm. Because you could be earning a paycheck in a situation where you're just sitting around not meeting new people and not learning new things. As the employer, do I care more that you've earned a paycheck, or do I care more that your skills are staying fresh and that you are, in circulation, updating your skills?
Well, so we've got a couple minutes left before we wrap this up, but I want to express that over and over and over again, I've seen people get jobs or expand their career or expand their skill set and really just find kind of their passion through volunteerism.
Right.
And you and I are examples. I got into this occupation over 12 years ago by volunteering in an agency that I didn't know existed, for an occupation that I didn't know existed. And I walked in the agency, fell in love with the agency, and just loved the people and became kind of a servant to the agency. I had nothing better to do because I was unemployed at the time. And I thought, well, why not do this? And my efforts rolled into a job. And that's the same way that you and I met,
right?
Through your volunteerism and the passion that you had. So let's let you kind of leave it off with a little bit of your story and kind of how you got here.
Yeah, for me, it was 2008 when I returned to Michigan and realized that there were a lot of wonderful displaced workers that were essentially benched, and I wasn't comfortable with that, and I had some time to dedicate to helping with that as a former recruiter in trying to show those displaced workers how to find jobs the way recruiters did. And what started out as the occasional coffee turned into this huge experience of networking groups and speaking engagements and committee assignments. And I ended up tripping over various Michigan State initiatives through my volunteer work. And our interaction was always out of a unified sense of purpose. It wasn't me ever trying to get a job with Michigan State. I never even imagined I would get a job with Michigan State. And I think that was the beauty of how it all came together. It was just natural. It just seemed like it made sense. But I definitely gained a lot of skills from that time as a volunteer. And granted, I had more time to put towards it. But even in short, brief segments, you can pick up new skills that help you stay fresh, give you perspective, and put you in a position where you're continually meeting a new person each week, each month.
Well, and I'd like to point out that I've been removed from that agency that I was talking about for 7 years because I moved on to other jobs, but I'm still connected to them. They still call me and say, hey, what should I do about this? There's still a connect, I still care about that agency. I still volunteer what little bit of time I can to doing even little efforts for them. So I've maintained that connectivity, and you, the same thing. You haven't just cut off, I got a job now, I'm done volunteering. Like we said, it's seamless.
It's a
part of
genuine
who you are.
interest, yep.
So, I mean, hopefully that's helpful. Is there anything else that you want to add?
I think that sums it up.
All right, happy holidays.